What are your thoughts on selling on alt instead of eBay? Let's see. On Prism, what borders do you look at? Just the color portion? I struggle with this year's Prisms. Eric, when should we switch from grading football to NBA? Eric, I have a large inventory of sports cards, and I'm curious, do you think your program would still benefit me in growing my business? Welcome to the Eric Michael Show, where I talk about sports, business, sports cards. I help people buy and sell sports cards, answer any questions you guys have, and we are live. And I think it's an amazing time right now to start buying and selling sports cards, and I'm going to show you guys why. If you guys have any questions, feel free to call into that number below. I happily answer any questions. Those questions do get preferential treatment over the questions in the chat, just to give you guys a heads up. But let's start this off with looking at some cards to buy. And by the way, I apologize that I'm running a little late here. I had to talk to some of my employees. But I think, in my personal opinion, that buying basketball Prism, these guys who are rookies last year, is an amazing buy. Football is still pretty good, but you want to buy low, sell high, right? So a lot of people have been buying football. You know, the guys like Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, all those guys, getting them graded. But what are people not really doing? They're not really buying basketball. The guys just aren't as coveted. And if the name of the game is to make money, right, there's much more upside with some of these basketball guys than football guys, just because nobody's buying them. That's that simple. But let's go on eBay and only all. Actually, I think I bid on a few cards the other day. Did I win? Now I got to see. You have no items that need to be paid for. Oh, I guess I did not win, but I use only all usually, and I like to look at higher end cards. And right now, I think some of these basketball guys are pretty good. Got pretty good buys, like Paolo Banchero. I like Wemby as a buy. That's not my type of buy though. I usually like to buy a little bit lower end, but a lot of basketball for sale. My boy Jalen Brunson. I think Cade Cunningham is a good buy too. Shay's obvious. Oh, you can see I bid on this. You are winning. I'm not saying how much I bid, because I feel like I've been losing the cards I'm bidding on here, because everyone else is looking at me doing it and outbidding me by a few dollars. I don't know if that's true, but I have a strong feeling. Let's hop over to eBay. I want some Cade Cunningham. I want some Paolo Banchero. I think they're pretty good buys. Let's see. Cunningham was a rookie in 2021. Let's see if there's any auctions. Right? It was 2020. Was it 2021? Yeah, he was a rookie in 2021, right? So let's see if there's any auctions ending here. Do minimum price $100. Let's see what we got in the pipeline here. Blue Fast Break. That's a pretty nice card. I actually offered on a Blue Fast Break Wemby on somebody, but I don't think I'm going to win it. There's nothing crazy here. You could tell people are just reluctant to auction these cards off, just because, you know, they don't want to sell them for the same reason I want to buy them, just because it's lower, right? And it makes common sense. Let's see Mr. Paolo Banchero. And I like the Pistons this year. I think they're going to be really good. This is always a safe buy. I don't really buy silver Prisms already graded to hold. This is a nice one. There's nothing crazy. Nothing that wild. Let's flip this around. Let's look at 2024 Prism basketball. This is where, like, this, I think, at least in my opinion, I think there's some serious money here. Simply because just nobody's grading this stuff. It's crazy. So Stephon Castle, if you don't follow basketball all too much, Stephon Castle, he's a player for the Spurs. This is the guy this year. He's not like a crazy good player, but his cards sell for a healthy amount of money. They sell for the most. So let's see this card. This is a Prism Purple Pulsar. See how the corner looks a little white there? Probably not going to buy it. It's a nice card though. This card ends in 23 minutes. That's yummy. That looks good. So a lot of times what you could do is people that end auctions in the middle of the day, like right now, it's not the time to do it. So a lot of times you can get good deals. So 130point.com is usually where I look at recent sales of cards. So We look here, white at a 275 prism. Castle. Let's see. One sold for 265 10 days ago. And this one's at 190. It looks to be well centered. Left to right, top to bottom. I don't know if that corner looks great. Let's see if this person grades cards. Let's look at his other stuff. I can't tell. I can't tell if that corner. I don't really have time to ask him for a picture. I don't think I could buy it. Let's select here, not graded. We're only looking at cards that are not graded. Another Stephon Castle. Caitlin Clark. He's always a good buy. Nah. Looks a little dinged. Caitlin Clark, like these cards, Caitlin Clark, you make crazy money on if you're able to get them at 10. But this card, I don't think will 10. It's a little off centered. You can see the top there is bigger than the bottom. So probably no good for what we're looking to do here. Let's see. A lot of stuff, man. Zach Edey. You know, let's lower this. Let's lower this price to like 70. That'll be a better number. Now let's look at cards not graded. Something like this. This is I can see this card just way off centered. Yeah, this card's not bad, but it's being sold by consignment. I never like to buy cards that are being sold by consignment because a lot of people dump their crappier cards there. That just aren't worth grading. Not saying you can't buy a card and get it graded and have it 10, but it's just hard to do with consignment. It used to be easier, but not anymore. Let's see. This is a sick card. I love this logo card. Once again, being sold by consignment, so I'm probably not going to bid on it, but it's a nice card nonetheless. Eamon Thompson, that's not a rookie. Tyler Kolek, player for the Knicks, who I think is actually pretty good. Stephon Castle, this guy put gradable, but this is like what is this card? I don't know what variation of this is. I don't know what it's called, but the centering's too far off. It's no good. Bronny James, I'm not a fan of buying Bronny James. I don't know what his market's gonna be like for people to buy. This guy's really showing this card. This one looks pretty good. It says gradable as well. Gradable. So this is a pink number to 249. Any callers yet, Kavi? Pink number to 249. Stephon Castle sells for like low hundreds. And this is at, we're not going to buy this. This is a 101. So what we could do is we could take this eBay item number, copy it, paste it into Easy Sniper, and you can see all these ones I lose. I just lose because I think because people outbid me. But let's bid 121. Little aggressive. Little aggressive, but I think it's okay. I think we could make some money. Let's look at, go back to 2024 Prism. Let's just look at in general. It's going to show us a lot of football because a lot of the football stuff. So like the key with football, at least in my opinion, is getting Dylan Raiola. They have prospects now. Wow, I did not know that. But I usually like to have all my football cards sold before the season begins. So for that reason, I like it's getting kind of close to not being able to buy football for me because most guys, in my opinion, do go down in value. Although there are some buys. I wonder like this Arch Manning. Is there money to be made here? This card's not going to grade a 10. It's too off-centered. I wonder if there's probably decent money to be made with that stuff. Jaden Daniels, Orange Optic. This is a very nice card. That actually looks to be in good condition. Interesting. See if he grades cards. Look at his other stuff here. Where are his cards? Sealed boxes. Doesn't look like. Nah, he doesn't grade cards. Jaden Daniels optic at a 249. Let's see what that sells for. Jaden 249 optic. 324, 350, right around like $300. This is it, 300 with 9 hours left. This card looks pretty good, man. Centered well. I mean, this card, if you 10 this card, you're making good money. Whoops. I will be aggressive here and bid 361. I will overbid for that card just because I know it's very liquid, very nice. Jaden Daniels, purple optic, and it's being sold by consignment. I will stay away from that. Ricky Pearsall, he could possibly have a good year. Quick consign, I'll stay away. Orange Velocity, Caitlin Clark. Is being sold by consignment, but I'm curious to see if there's money to be made. Caitlin Clark. Oh, that's not how to spell that. Caitlin Clark, Orange Velocity. I wonder. So a PSA 10 sold for $595. Wow, and you could buy a raw for buy the same raw card for $160. That's pretty good money right there. Wow, is that really what 10s sell for that much? I almost don't believe it. Let's see. The other variation sells for like 400. Yeah, I mean, so this variation of hers, the one of her shooting, is worth a little bit more than the one of her standing there because it's like her true card or however you want to say it. But I mean, it's being sold by a consignment shop, so it kind of worries me. I'm gonna stay away, but I got that card in the back of my head now. See what else there is. Brock Purdy, stained glass. Not bad. Let's see here. It's a nice car. I think McCarthy, I don't think he's a good quarterback, but I think he's actually a pretty good buy. This card's too off-centered. We're no good here. No, it's being sold by consignment. So, like, what you could do, like, what I do a lot of the time is, so now we know. So, like, let's take that Caitlin Clark Orange Velocity card. We know we can make a lot of money with it, right? And we know exactly what it sells for. So now we can just look, like, what, like, are there any not? I usually look at auctions just because it's easier for me to show people. But now we can look at Orange Velocity and only look at these cards and pinpoint them. And there's way more cards being sold not for auction than for auction, usually. So, for example, this one, Hamburglar, an interesting name. Like this, looks to be in decent shape. If there's anything, nothing down here. If he grades other cards. He might grade other cards. Yes, some are graded. I'm going to stay away because he grades cards. Not for me. But you can see all these are ending in auction, right? And then we know this card sells for like low $100 and a PSA 10 is close to $600. So pretty good, right? Let's hop to the chat and answer some questions. I'm sure there's a bunch of questions here. First question. What are your thoughts on selling on alt instead of eBay? So my thoughts on that is alt is usually better for selling higher end cards, but the best place to sell cards, in my opinion, is doing it yourself on Facebook, on card shows, Instagram, because you don't pay any fees, and then you're able to actually build connections. Alt, right, is going to take about what do they take? Maybe like about 10% of like that buyer's premium. So when someone buys a card for $1,000 on alt, they actually have to give an extra 20% for buyer's premium. So they're actually spending $1,200. About half of that will go to you, and the other half will go to them. Is how I believe it works. But they'll negotiate. But the best place to sell cards is by yourself. To be forward. Let's see. Morning, Eric. I have a 2020 Optic Tyrese Halliburton checkerboard PSA 10. Being a Pop 23, what would you do here? Simple answer is sell. What is a good price? Good question. Let's see. So you have a 2020 Optic checkerboard Halliburton. So it's this card right here. So the last sale of this card was about, what's today? Like 2 months ago before the playoffs at $325. So check this out. So what you could do, let's look at that. And let's look at a more common card of Tyrese Halliburton, like his Prism Silver PSA 10. So this card right here. So if you look at these cards, right, and you look at the past like 180 days, right? So you have one sale of 325. At this point, his Silver Prism PSA 10 was about 178. But if you look now, his Silver Prism has about doubled, right? So what does that tell us? This should be about times 2. So I would try to sell this for about $650, but realistically, I would take $550. Hopefully that answers your question, but that's how to get to that data. You just look at another type of card of his, you see it's doubled, and then you just kind of do the math. That was a good one though. Hopefully that makes sense. Bought it for $350 Canadian. That's pretty good. So that's like, yeah, so you'll make some pretty good money. Let's see. On Prism, what borders do you look at? Just the color portion? I struggle with this year's Prism. So, yeah, if you don't know really what you're doing, you're going to struggle with this year's Prism. It's just hard to grade. I think only like 20% of them actually end up getting a 10. But I'll share my screen and show you what I look at. And hopefully it could help you. So, this is this year's Prism. It's right here. So, like, what you want to look at is this top, this bottom. Do they have a similar space between them? You could tell this top is a little bit bigger than this bottom. See how this bottom is smaller? This left border, this right border are about equal. Okay. Then on the back, I really don't look at back centering too much. PSA doesn't care as much. Really what you're looking at is these corners. So these black corners, if they look good, then like that's really what I look at. But that's how I look at the centering, the corners, and yeah, it's hard. Like that's why if you grade this year's Prism, you make 3-4 times your money. So it's supposed to be hard. Not a lot of them are in good condition. But yeah. Let's see. What is a good listing price for a 2024 Obsidian International Orange Mosaic out of 24 Pop 1? I assume you mean that's a PSA 10. So I have no idea what card that is, but I think maybe someone mentioned that something about that card to me a few weeks ago. So it's this card, Obsidian, Jaden Daniels, number to 24. Is that what that was? Let me look here. Yep, Obsidian number 2024 International. Let me look at something else here. International. See. Let's see here. What do we got going on? International. I can't find this card. Sounds like the card's worth about like $700 ish, but I can't find it. Obsidian International Orange. Oh, it's this one. Yeah, so 184 raw. It's probably 450-ish, 400 to 500 as a PSA 10. That would be my best guess. Hopefully that helps you out, Jason. And while we wait for some calls, by the way, if you guys have any questions, feel free to call into that number below. Sometimes weird. Sometimes we get a ton of callers, sometimes not. But I did start a little bit late. So yeah, free pickings. I do prioritize the callers over the questions in the chat. But while I wait for some callers, let's continue this search. So I actually been pulling some decent cards because I've been like opening up packs and boxes we have a giveaway to do, but I was actually pulled some decent cards recently. I usually have terrible luck with pulling cards, but not recently. I wonder. Let's take a look at some higher end cards and see something. Let's take a look at Cade Cunningham cards over $1,000. Already graded a PSA 10. I think there's room here, man. Make money. So if we look here, let's look at Cunningham blue prism at a 99 121. See Cunningham. Let's get rid of this. So this card sold for, oh, the last sale was too high. Yeah, they're gonna, it's lower, but this person's gonna try to use that last sale, and it's gonna be no good. This is a sick card, and this guy's asking way too much money. That's a sick card. Pink fast break Cunningham. I had a gold Cunningham last year, like a gold optic. I actually made really good money on. I almost doubled my money. Factory set orange hyper. Nothing crazy. There's this blue, but yeah, this guy's gonna be asking way too much money. But yeah, you might as well throw the offer out there, right? See what happens. Send the offer out. Nope, declined. No good. Vertical patch auto. Wow, that's sick. Let's change it up to a Bancaro 2022. 10,300. Orange prism. This is a nice card. This is on only on. I actually might text my friend about this. Let's see what this card sells for. So when I look at like higher end cards, I usually go to market movers to look at sale prices because it's more accurate and it's easier to find usually than doing it on 130 point. Orange at a 149 PSA 10. The last one was $2,200. But let's do something. Let's do a little math here. See what a silver prism was selling for back then and see if it's worth more or less now. Silver prism PSA 10. Let's look. So his silver prism was $285 when this sale happened. Ish. Yeah, it's kind of all over the place. But now it's worth a little more, it looks like. Let's see. Actually, maybe they would probably prefer if I offered on their platform, I would imagine. What? Shouldn't it be on here? Oh, I'm only looking at auctions. Can you offer? Yep, you could offer. You can make up to 5 offers on this item. Let's offer $1,800. Minimum offer. Oh. You must offer higher than the minimum threshold. What? Okay. I guess that's why they do that. All right. This is probably basically the highest I'll go. You have successfully offered on this card. Nice. Yeah, I never think of going on here to look at cards that are not. Usually I only bid on auctions, but all right. I got some decent stuff here. Huh. A lot of Cade Cunningham. There's a lot of Cade Cunningham. Wow. Like Cunningham. Oh, whoops. Cunningham PSA 10. Not a bad card. Mojo Prism. Not my type, though. Not a bad card. By the way, if you got so many questions, like I said, feel free to call. Yeah, this is the card I had like last year. I actually made pretty good money on it. Let's see here. Nothing crazy. There's probably a good chunk of Wembenyama. Wembenyama, I think, is a safe purchase. I don't think they have he has as much upside as like Bancaro, but pretty safe purchase. Green Pulsar. See if there's any Wemby ending on a. I think buying Wemby to grade is a great idea right now, but it's obviously hard to find that stuff. Look at Wemby on eBay and see if there's anything ending an auction that looks decent. Mm, Silver PSA 10's not really my style. Blue Wave, not bad. Nothing crazy. Let's hop back to the chat and see if there's any questions. Let's see here. What are your thoughts on Amon and Oscar Thompson twins for buying for the offseason? Pick them up, super young and athletic, and both of them made the playoffs this year. Let's look. So they're actually not bad buys, honestly. Amon Thompson, Silver, Prism. So like he sells for a little bit more than Oscar Thompson, I believe. So he kind of popped off later in the year. But $200. Look at his brother. Let's compare him and his brother and see. It's not a bad question. Like this is something I would definitely try to buy their higher end cards. Oscar Thompson, yeah, he sells for about half. Oscar Thompson, and I like the Pistons this year. I think they're gonna have a lot of hype. So let's see. Oscar Thompson. I think Oscar Thompson's the better play, honestly, just because he's cheaper. Usually cheaper. There's more upside. Let's look on eBay and see. I think that's a pretty good idea. Prism 2023, right? Let's look here and see if there's anything. Nah, there's no one selling anything of Oscar Thompson, or no auctions at least. Wow, people are probably scared because it's so cheap right now. All right, let's look at just look at his high end stuff. Well, let's not look at only auctions. Probably have to offer on this stuff. There's probably just not a lot of it. Oscar Thompson. I think buying like a high end card or two of his is like just. I think that could be a killer idea. Nothing crazy out here. Like Prism. Maybe Amon Thompson has better stuff. Green Pulsar PSA 10. This is a sick card. Snakeskin. So like what you could do with this. This is actually a good idea now that I'm talking about it out loud. So if you look at a Oscar, let's reset this. Oscar Thompson Snakeskin Prism. Okay, a PSA 10 did $845, and this guy's asking $1,200 for a Beckett 9.5. This doesn't make much sense. Yeah, this guy's just asking way too. This card's probably worth like if this card auction would probably be like $500. But what I would do is you could buy this card and it would probably PSA 10 based on these subgrades, but Beckett's just not worth as much. So in the meantime, while you're waiting for it to hopefully go up in value in the offseason, you could take it, send it to PSA, and hopefully it gets a 10. And if it doesn't, it just stays in the same placeholder. Let's see what else. All right, so this is my type of. I actually have I think I have an Oscar Thompson back there somewhere, or an Amon Thompson Orange Prism. I made a little bit of money on the Oscar Thompson Orange out of 49, 2023. Wow, that is cheap. Only 200. Only 200. Wow. Raw did 131. So this card is probably worth like 300. Honestly, this is a flyer. This guy's not going to accept my offer, but you might as well throw it out there, right? It's free. It is free. Oh, I went through. Okay. Blue choice. No, there's no back picture. Go back to the chat, see if you folks have any questions. Let's see. Well, hopefully that answers your question. Let's see what other questions we have here. Is Cade on the rise? No, Cade Cunningham is not on the rise, which is why I think he's a good buy. If he's on the rise, I would say don't do it. Eric, when should we switch from grading football to NBA? So the question you have to ask yourself is just how, like, you just like at least once again, there's no guarantees here, but this is just the way I do it. You just don't want any football cards when the season starts, right? So if today is June 15th or whatever it is, 16th, and it takes 2 months to grade a card, just do the math and make sure you can have those cards back before the NFL season starts. That's the way I do it, and it works pretty well because most guys just go down in value when the NFL season starts. Like, it happens all the time. Like, I don't have to show you the data. Look at last year, like Bryce Young. Bryce Young actually, like, he went down a ton and kind of came back up to almost where he used to be. Like, Anthony Richardson is a shell of himself. You have who is it? What's his name? Oh, Will Levis. I thought Will Levis was going to be a good quarterback. If you look back to my content about a year ago, I was saying, like, I thought Will Levis was going to be solid, but he was obviously not solid. He was the furthest thing from solid. But that's the question you have to ask yourself. And then, like, right now, like, I'll still buy football, but like now I start to mix in NBA. And then I'll stop buying football probably like July 1st to grade. But at that point, when I'm buying cards in July, I'm using the higher end service so I get the cards back faster. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's see here. I have a legacy rookie Tyrese Halliburton at a 49. Any idea what I should list it for? Legacy rookie. What's the product? Is the product legacy? Is that it? Let me look it up. Maybe it's a product I just don't know about. Oh, flawless. Looks like flawless you're talking about. But if I had to take a guess what that card is worth, it's numbered to 49. I gotta see the card. I don't know. It's probably worth like $300, $400, something like that. I just have to see the card. You have to send it to me. I'm not exactly sure. Let's see. Jason, why don't you call in? You got a lot of questions. Why don't you call in? Go call that number on the bottom. Let's see here. Been buying Bowman first, Sarah Strong, and Jeloni Cambridge, WNBA prospects. Well, cheap, good idea for long-term hold. Probably not, unless you're buying it to grade. I don't think anyone's a good idea for a long-term hold if you ask me. But yeah, so honestly, no, probably not. Like Caitlin Clark is impossible to replicate. Eric, I have a large inventory of sports cards, and I'm curious, do you think your program would still benefit me in growing my business? Yes, that's exactly what we do. A lot of people that come to us already have a lot of sports cards, and what we do, we show them how to take it, maximize on it, sell it for as much money as possible, take the money, and put it into our process and what you see me talk about here all the time, with buying, grading, etc. So yes, I do think it would be a good idea. But I would only do it if you have the money. Like, it's not worth unless you have like $3,000 to buy a bankroll to buy cards with, I probably wouldn't join the program, to be honest with you. I think the one from the Rockets wants to be a boxer. LOL. Pistons is really? Eamon Thompson wants to be a boxer? That's sounds like a terrible idea. Nice show. Can you turn in your captions in the future? We can't live. I wish I could, but we cannot. See what other questions I missed. Not many questions I missed. Wow, I'm surprised there's no callers. Usually the callers is what gets this going. There's no callers. Yeah, maybe it's because we started late. That could be the reasoning, because we did start late. Well, if there's no other callers, I will let everyone go. I'll keep this one a little bit shorter. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.